Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Moon Knight issue number 16. Man, you can skip an issue, that's fine. You're going to want to go back and read it because every issue that you read has something amazing in it. And that's just, for me, that's been the crux of this series. Every single issue has something memorable in it. Let's get talking about all that good stuff. First, credit where credit's due. Jed MacKay is the writer. Alejandro Capuccio is the artist. Rachel Rosenberg on color art and VC's Corey Petit on letters. Cover art, Stephen Scovey and Rachel Rosenberg. And there are count them, two variant covers out there. And holy crap, they are really freaking beautiful. I'm actually going to put them at the end of the pictures thing of this video, man. Holy crap, they are gorgeous freaking pictures. So Moon Knight, can I remember this one girl's name, but the female vampire there, and Soldier, who became a vampire because he had a bullet that was just previously hit by that vampire going to him also. It's really weird. It's a really weird thing, and I'm glad they explain in this because I'm just like, wait, what? They go up and they want to start talking to this new vampire chick in town. She's apparently one of the lords of the vampires, and she's ancient. She's like antediluvian level. She's been around since the time of this great, like the 16th century. Actually, probably before that, but whatever. There was a mention in here of wearing white during a funeral. I looked it up. I was like, when did they wear white during funerals? I remember hearing about that, but when and where exactly was that? And they said the French courts of the 16th century. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's who she is, right? Possibly. The thing is that she worked for a Chinese emperor and kicked butt and took names and blah, 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 and assassinated more than 1,000 men before Dracula was even born, which that's pretty damn impressive. Like that's nothing to, shake a stick at. I know nowadays there are like there's so many people in the world. There's so many murders every day. Like you just crying out loud. Like there's some places you can go to just in America where it's like, you people killed on a weekend are astronomical, and there's just regular disputes or whatever. People talk about the massacre at the OK Corral. Only 4 people were killed for that. 4. That's it. Nowadays. So when I hear like, I've killed more than 1,000 men by the time this guy was born, I'm like, wow. Wow. For back in the day? Yo, like your name is mentioned for stuff like that. I mean, wow. Anyway, she's ridiculously powerful. And she showed her power. And this was the thing that was so memorable for me. Besides who was apparently killed in this issue. That's right, it looks like somebody was killed. It's left at a bit of a cliffhanger, but a broken neck is a broken neck. It's really hard to recover from something like that. What's the guy going to become, like a vampire? Or, like he might have to become a vampire. Holy crap, in order for him to boom, like he can actually start using his body again. I'm just saying somebody was possibly killed in this issue. Yeah, looking forward to see what happens with that. In the meantime, this vampire chick, Moon Knight, comes up, and at one point he calls her a coward. And the reason why he calls her a coward was fantastic, but there's this one page. It's kind of hard to call it a splash page because there were 2 very small... That's annoying. There were 2 very small moments... There were 2 very small panels, top left, bottom right, which indicated that something was moving. She was drinking from a bowl of blood, I guess, and Moon Knight called her a coward, and she leaps up at him, and she's already got him by one hand on his throat, pinned up against the wall, feet dangling off the ground, and she's turned into an alter form, which is like, oh, you're not as cute as I used to think you were just a couple panels ago. And they show that after that happens, that's when the bowl falls on the ground. I'm like, damn. It's little things like that. Just little things like that. It's funny. I read, what's the name of the book that I read right before? This is actually still uploading at the time of me making this freaking video. What am I uploading? Oh, The Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And I made mention of Jed MacKay doing Moon Knight at one point in that video. And I thought to myself, you know what? Moon Knight came out this week. I've got some time. let me just go and, read this comic book really quick and see where we're at in the series right now. Glad I did. And go figure, a thing that I complained about in Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man and how it's supposed to be done was done correctly here in this comic book, just in that one page, which is otherwise a splash page. Beautiful moments like that, little things like that. It may seem like it's a nothing thing, but he could have just had her get up and like pin him against the wall and da-da-da-da, whatever. But instead, they showed, Jed MacKay and Cappuccio, they showed without saying. What is one of her abilities as a vampire? Ridiculously fast super speed. I remember reading. I remember watching an episode of Sam from the Sun back in the day. That's right, I'm old. Da, 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 da. And Fred made a joke. He says, "Are you kidding me? I'm fast. I'm faster than you. I'm so fast. I once turned out the light. I flipped the switch on the wall, and I was in bed under the covers and half asleep by the time that the room got dark." Like, he was making jokes. Like, there's another one about, I hit a home run, and I ran all the bases before the ball even landed on the ground. Like little things like that. It's just like, that's just funny. It's stupid little, almost punish type humor, And that's the kind of thing that I'm seeing here. She's drinking, she lets go of the bowl, got him up against the wall, display of super strength, and there's the display of super speed by these two little panels that show, oh, now the bowl hits the ground. That bowl was completely insignificant, and suddenly that bowl became like super important, right, for the storytelling here, because you get to understand what this character is all about. Now, if we see that in Moon Knight just, like backhands her and she's, a couple issues from now, I'm going to have some problems with this. I'm going to have some things to say about this. But for right now, that was a very cool moment. I really, really liked that. Also, there was emphasis made on the idea that Soldier was turned into a vampire quite by accident, in a very, goofy way. I mentioned the bullet thing. But other people took offense to that. It's almost like the abortion debates going on, right? And I'm not interested in getting into that right now. But I will say that people are very upset over this kind of thing, right? People are they're very opinionated. There goes my tongue. Very opinionated. And they're just, bam, we got something to say. We've got something to say. Boom, listen to what I've got to say. And anger and rage and all that good stuff. Here, a life was created that was not meant to be created, an unlife. He was a regular human being, and then he became a vampire. And no vampire sank fangs into... He's almost like a test tube baby, in a way. And the vampires who heard about this, who know about this, and the word spreading on the street, this is considered an insult. While the rest of us may say, I don't see why. It's not for you to understand why. It's for you to be confused. And just a little bit understand, as I'm explaining, that this is going to piss off some other people. It doesn't make sense to us why it would. What's the big deal? He was cursed, wasn't he? Do other people see it as a curse? Would vampires see being a vampire as a curse? To me, this is amazing. It's little subtle stuff like this that I want to obsess over for a long time, because that's really good storytelling. Wow. I'm reading this comic book and I'm seeing all these little things that are happening, little setups, little potentials, little things making me think to myself, oh, what about if this guy becomes a vampire then? This is the thing that he hates the most. But it's little things like that just get me saying this is a fantastic comic book. Man, oh man. I'm telling you, if you're going to be on a monthly book, Moon Knight would be a great book to be on a monthly schedule with, right? There are other things that happen monthly that don't exactly make people happy. Talking about women in this particular case. Y'all have my sympathies. But this is a monthly thing that I can get behind fully. Let's go. I love this story. I would love to see these stories turned into something more like a TV series, right? I would love to see, just more has to be done with this. This is some of the best Moon Knight storytelling that I have come across in a particularly long time. I'm rather enjoying it. Guys, I think you're going to like it too. Make sure you're on this comic book. Also, again, 2 really incredible variant covers this week. Wow. Let me know which one's your favorite. I'll talk to you guys later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.